Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Watchdives WD5513. I received this watch for free, and I don't have to send it back, but you guys should know the deal by now. No matter how I get a watch in for review, whether it's free, whether I purchase it, whether it's a loaner, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, as always, there will be a link down in the video description that'll take you right to the Watchdives website. It is an affiliate link, so if you use that link, it's a easy way for you guys to help support the channel and keep things running. The retail price for this watch is $149 US. That's before any taxes, VAT, tariffs, discounts, anything like that. You can use my code ESCAPE10 here for $10 off your purchase. The watch comes in 5 different dial variations and bezel variations, so pay attention and look close. Some of them are printed dials like this one. Some of them have applied indices. Some of them have full markings all the way around the bezel. So yeah, just keep an eye on it and pay attention to the little details because there is a little bit of difference there. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 200 meters of claimed water resistance, Swiss BGW9 Lume on the dial and the hands, and the watch is powered by the Seiko NH35 or NH38, depending on your dial variation, automatic movement. So I reviewed the previous version of this watch. It was named something different. It was the WD79090. I really liked what they did with that watch, but it wasn't nearly as refined as this one. They made some minor yet significant changes to the watch to give us this new WD5513. So I say we get into the full review and see what exactly they did. But before we do, doing a quick wrist check today. Wearing my new Ixtao, I'm calling this the flight check or check altitude watch. This is a Hanhart homage, and it looks fantastic, and it is actually really, really nice. So review for this one will be coming soon. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. All right, so let's check on dimensions. We've got a bezel diameter of 39.9 millimeters, got a case thickness of 13.2 millimeters, got a standard 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 48.4 millimeters, and sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with one link removed. It weighs 145 grams. So we have a pretty classic set of dimensions, 40 millimeters at the bezel. The case is slightly smaller than that at 39 millimeters. The thickness of it, they did trim off about a 0.5 millimeter from the overall height, and then they did some major resculpting of this bottom edge here and just kind of slimmed down the side profile of the watch, and that helps make it weigh a little bit less. It helps it wear better, make it look a little bit thinner. They did a very nice job with that. So that's one of the major changes that they made right there. Yeah, I mean, 145 grams, kind of that sweet spot for a stainless steel sports watch or dive watch. So yeah, I think it wears pretty nicely. It does feel a little bit top heavy. I know a lot of the weight is in this watch head, and the bracelet feels just a little bit light in comparison. Other than that though, I do like the way it wears, so I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears great. I just really like the size of these classic vintage sub cases. There's not many of them out there, but the ones that I have tried on, I just prefer them over the modern ones. I like the slimmer lugs, I like the slimmer crown guards, and it just wears better. This is one of the nicer ones as far as the mid-case thickness. They still could improve just a little bit, but it's really not that bad at all. You can see there. Got a slight little taper to the lugs, and you know, I just think it wears very nice. Maybe a little bit top heavy, but it's not bad. I do like how it looks. The aluminum bezel insert just plays with the light a little bit differently than a ceramic one, and I just love that. So yeah, it kind of just brings out that vintage appeal of the old ones. So yeah, really happy, really happy with this. Let's go throw it on some straps and let's get back to this review. And here we are on a kind of a vintagey suede strap in gray. This is lifted off of my Merkur. I believe I have a link for this one. I will leave it down below. I think it looks really good. I love this kind of, you know, dark blue and gray color combo. I think it always looks pretty good. No issues with strap clearances either. And next up, here we are on an FKM style strap, cut to size. This is the Mosaic dark blue. I think it looks pretty good. Match is pretty much spot on. So I will leave the link in the video description for this watch, or this strap, and all the other ones that I have in this strap show. And here we are. I wanted to get this out in the sun as much as I possibly could, just to kind of show off the color a little bit better. Yeah, it's about as good as I'm going to get today. So This is on just a cheap elastic nylon strap. There you go, there's some direct sun. Looking really good. I love the bezel insert color on this watch. I think it matches the dial perfectly. There's one layer underneath the watch there. It still sits very nice. All right, let's go throw it on one last one. And lastly, here we are on a C&S watch band's double pass nylon strap. This is the mustard yellow color. There's two layers underneath the watch there, and now you can start to see that thickness come into play a little bit. It still wears very comfortable and feels very balanced and stuff, but you can definitely see it sitting off the wrist there a little bit. So just what you kind of have to get used to with a case like this. It's very flat, as well as the NH35. It's got a thicker case back, so kind of sits the watch up a little bit. But I still think it looks really good. I like this color combo for some reason. Usually not a blue and yellow fan, but this one just kind of works for me. Love the strap. I'll leave the link down below for it. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about case finishing. So case finishing, it's a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. We have on the tops of the lugs here, we have that kind of vintage looking angular or circular brushing. Pretty coarse as compared to like the case sides, but that's kind of what you expect on a watch of this design. It looks good to me. On the case sides here, fully brushed. They went for brush sides instead of polished sides like the original, which is really, I just think a bonus. I like that a lot. You have drilled lugs there. Flipping it to the crown side here, you have a 7mm signed screw down crown. Really nice signature on that. The crown is protected nicely by these really nice small pointed crown guards. I think it all looks very good. You have this nice high polished chamfer there, separating the top and the case flanks. Really nice. Getting up close, you can see there. Not super crisp, but I mean, you know, you don't usually look at a watch this close. So I am really happy with the chamfer on that. I think it just adds a little bit of flair to an otherwise all brushed case there. Flipping it to the case back here, kind of standard affair. We've got a screw down case back, simple notches for a tool, and then you've got a little bit of brushing, a little bit of polishing, circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs. There's no real sharp edges on the bottom of the case there. They took care and kind of, you know, sanded those down just a little bit, which helps a lot. The only sharp points that I've found on this watch are the inside of the lug tips. That's pretty much it, and that's not something that you ever feel, so really not a big deal. So the case finishing, it's about what I expected from Watchdives. Pretty nicely done. Not perfect, but very nicely done, and it's really, you don't even notice it until you really put it under macro. So I do like the case, and I like how it was finished. So let's talk about the bezel. So first off, the bezel insert. It's an aluminum bezel insert. Looks fantastic. I love just the light play off of the numerals of an aluminum insert. It's just something different than a paint-filled ceramic. And so yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's a matte aluminum. Looks great. I love the shade of blue that they chose here. You have a lumed pip at the 12 o'clock position. It is perfectly aligned. The bezel on the watch, it's 120 click unidirectional bezel. There is, I mean, I wouldn't even call that play in the bezel. I don't really feel it wobbling either, so the bezel on the watch has actually been improved from the previous one. The previous one wasn't bad. This one is just a little bit better. It feels very notchy. I'll let you listen to it here. So it is a 120 click unidirectional. Really loud clicks, very notchy, good resistance all the way around. Yeah, there's just not much to complain about at all. They did a very nice job on it, and again, the bezel alignment is just spot on. So yeah, kudos to Watchdives for improving the bezel action on this watch. Yeah, it's really good now. All right, so let's talk about the crystal. First things first, we'll test it for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. So we do have a sapphire crystal here with clear and a reflective coating. I can't tell if it's a box dome. If it is, it's a very subtle box dome. And it is also domed on the top there. You can see it sitting above the bezel insert just a little bit, and there's like a little radius instead of a chamfer. So yeah, if it is a flat crystal, or I guess very subtle double dome crystal, you know, it just, I don't know. It's hard to tell what the actual shape of it is, but either way, it's a nice crystal. I like the clear AR coating on it. They did a good job. I think there's plenty of AR coating on it. So yeah, it does a good job keeping the dial nice and clear. So yeah, I do like the crystal on it a lot. All right, so let's get real close. We'll talk about the dial on the watch. So the dial is kind of this dusty blue, matte blue. It looks fantastic, matches the bezel insert perfectly. This version here has printed indices at all the hour markers. triangle at 12, 6, and 9, and then a simple date cut out there at the 3 o'clock. The minute track is printed nicely as well. It's a really long minute track, which is helpful for the time telling. You have your simple Watchdives logo at the 12 o'clock, automatic 200 meters at the 6 o'clock. Everything is printed nice and crisp. You can see the indices. Hopefully you can see that. They do have a little bit of depth to them, or puffiness to them. So yeah, there's plenty of lume on the dial. We'll get to the lume shot here in just a second. The handset is your typical Mercedes style handset. Lollipop second hand there, sweeping along. It's a good length in my opinion. I think they're finished nicely. The color match during the daytime, showing up a little bit more creamy here than the dial itself. The dial is kind of this stark white. The hands are kind of this creamy color. But really, I think that's mostly just my lights. In everyday situations that you're looking at it, it's very, very close to being a perfect match. It's something that they've worked on. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect, but it's better than it used to be, and that's kind of the direction we want to see these companies going. So yeah, I do like the dial on this watch. I think the color, like I said, is just perfect for it. And yeah, it just looks great. So let's talk about the lume. Pop up a lume shot here against a couple other dive watches in the collection, and you can see it actually works pretty good. The dial itself is printed really nice, really heavy. It lasts all night long. The hands, they do fade a little bit faster than the dial does, but I think the video is kind of blowing it out of proportion just a little bit. I was able to read this watch in the middle of the night, no problem. So yeah, I think the lume on the watch is actually pretty darn good. It does give you some of that daytime glows as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the lume, especially since it's a printed dial and not an applied dial. They did a pretty good job on it. Okay, so let's talk about the movement powering the watch. So we have inside, we have the NH35 automatic movement from Seiko. If you get a no date dial, that is the NH38. So it's nice that they're starting to put in the proper movements for the dial style that you're choosing. So if you don't know about this movement, they're accurate enough. They're reliable, they're robust, they're tough. They're going to last a very long time. Here's how mine has been running. So can't really complain about that at all. Really happy with the accuracy on them. These movements, they hack, they hand wind, they have a bidirectional winding rotor, so you don't get any of that rotor whirl. Yeah, they're just great movements. I've got no issues with them at all. This one here is operated by the screw down 3 o'clock crown. Nice big crown, plenty of grip on it. Screw in, screw out action has been nice and smooth. You get a decent pop out from the NH35. First position is your hand winding. Feels just like an NH35 would. Second position, pop it out. It changes your date. Date seems to be centered in there nicely as well. No issues with that. And then the third position, you pull it out. Hacks the movement every time. This is where you set your time. You can see the hand alignment, spot on. So yeah, I don't have too much to complain about. It's a nice solid feeling crown. There's minimal wobble there. The only thing that I have noticed, I'll try and do it here sometimes, when you push it in and immediately try and thread it, it'll move the minute hand. So we'll try. No, it didn't do it there. So I'd say it's like 1 out of every 5 times I do it that actually happens. So I'm not sure what's going on with it, but I've noticed if I just press it in and then you know, just wait a second, I guess, it's fine. So yeah, just something I noticed and figured I'd point it out to you guys. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on the watch. So the bracelet on the watch is kind of your standard affair from Watchdives. It's a 3-link, solid links. You got polishing on the sides, brushing on the top, which is nice and neat. The fluidity of the bracelet has been fine, no links hanging up. You do have screw pins for adjusting on this one, which is nice to see. You have female end links. They are solid end links. There's no quick release spring bars on these ones, which is a little bit disappointing, but you do have drilled lugs there for easy strap changes. And they do put in a nice set of spring bars for you. So yeah, it's overall a very nice package. You can see this end links, they follow the case curvature just perfectly. There is a mismatch in the machining, but that's just what you expect on a watch like this style. They're all like this, even the old Rolexes are like this. So yeah, there's no play in the end links either. Nice and solid fitment there. Very happy with the end link fitment, very happy with the bracelet. 20 millimeters tapering down to 16 millimeters. Yeah, I mean, it's just what you expect. I mean, they say they've improved it. You know, this bottom edge here feels nice and rounded. The fluidity feels good. Tolerances are pretty good, I think. I don't see anything really wrong with it. Maybe a little bit too sloppy in this first link here, but really not that bad. The clasp our typical standard affair with Watchdives. Pressed outer shell with 5 levels of micro adjust, 2 button pushers there. You got the new logo etched in. The finishing on the clasp is very nice. There's really no sharp edges on it. Now that I'm feeling around, I don't feel any sharp edges on it. Sometimes you can get hit and miss with these clasps. This one feels pretty good. This back edge here, which I've had sharp on a different one, feels nice on this one. So fully milled on the inside as well. Nice tight tolerances. It opens and closes exactly like you would expect it to, with a nice satisfying click. So yeah, it's kind of your typical Watchdives clasp. If you've had one like this before, you're gonna know exactly what to expect. It's pretty low profile. It does feel a little bit small for this watch head. The watch head is pretty heavy, the clasp is pretty light, so it does give a feeling of top heaviness on the bracelet. So it's just something that I noticed, and maybe they can kind of beef up this a little bit with the on the fly clasp would be nice. It would kind of balance out the watch head a little bit better. So there you go, guys. That is the WD5513, obviously a vintage sub homage. They kind of upped the game from their 79090 homage. Better bezel action and a thinner case and a thinner mid case, an upgraded bracelet as well. So and they've kind of fixed the lume on it as well. I mean, the lume wasn't bad previously, but they just kind of upped the game on their lume. I think the dials are fantastic. I think the design is fantastic. This is, in my opinion, between this and the St. Martin SN006, which has its own set of issues, a ceramic bezel insert and super long lug to lug. Those are the two best vintage sub homages on the market, in my opinion. This one and the SN006, which is actually pretty hard to find these days. Yeah, this is kind of your best bet if you're going for that vintage sub look. I think they did a very nice job. It's still not perfect, but much improved over the previous version, and that's the direction I like to see them going. It's still a very nice watch, and for $150, I don't see how you can be unhappy with it. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.